Next, from Lewis and Clark Community College in Godfrey, Illinois, we speak with John Bambenek, a security expert, as he tells us about some of the cyber threats online, the impact on our businesses and governments, and what each of us can do to safeguard our information.
John Bambenek, thanks for joining us on the Illinois Channel. And as we are talking, you are an expert known for your ability on cybersecurity, and that is increasingly a threat. We hear all this about the Russian hacking, but people should know that actually the United States is under attack on a daily basis from any number of players around the world. How predominant is the cyber threat to individuals, our businesses, and the United States as a whole?
Well, anybody who's got information to lose or money to lose, right, is under risk, right? Depending on whether you're a business, you're a government, who you are, the types of threats you face may vary, right? But there are always criminals out there trying to steal money or steal your identity. There's always intelligence agencies trying to steal secrets, and there's players out there who are trying to steal corporate information, whether it be financial or trade secrets or the like. So it's happening all the time, 24 hours a day.
A lot of times we get these interest, we talk about Facebook and gathering data and different other online people. As a cybersecurity expert, what are the things you're focusing on, and to what extent do we hear some of these things and maybe we really shouldn't even pay attention to some of the things, but we should pay attention to some things we're not paying attention to?
Well, part of the problem is it's really hard and it's really technical. So, for instance, we hear a lot about attacks on the power grid, but what does that exactly mean? There's things probing the internet all the time that the same things might be probing my home internet because they're scanning the entire internet. No big deal. There are certainly compromises of back office networks because, like any business, you've got people with a desktop who are checking their email, doing online shopping at work or whatever, may have clicked on something they shouldn't. Certainly there are real threats to the power grid itself, but it's highly technical to say, hey, this matters and this doesn't, right? Not all attacks are the same and not all are really critical. And you mentioned Russia and election stuff. Predominantly, a lot of what Russia does is just social media online manipulation, but it's really just stirring up activists. It's not really changing anybody's mind. And making Americans more angry at each other than we already are, and making us more divisive. And I think certainly emphasizing, they haven't figured out a way to change vote totals. The actual conduct of our elections is pretty safe, especially in Illinois when we have post-election audits and that to find the things that we just may have missed on Election Day.
Relative to elections, should we maintain a system where there's a paper backup that if we needed to, we could go to the paper copy?
Yeah, I think absolutely, right? In the case of financial fraud, ultimately we've got insurance to pay for the losses. In the case of an election fraud where we can't figure out the outcome, there is no insurance policy. So just having that paper trail, that worst case scenario, something bizarre happens, even something not criminal, right? Something technologically bizarre happens. We can go back and count everything by hand. It's an expense, it takes a lot of time, but we know how to do that and really ensure that the voters themselves have confidence in the conduct of our elections because, that's what Russia wants to diminish, that's what other countries want to diminish, that's what we want to protect. So that even if we never actually go to that step, that it's there, we can go back after the fact and say, okay, let's count it by hand, everything matches up. We can have that authenticity that we've not really been able to figure out in the electronic realm of how to have.
I'm sure there's always new threats coming along, so it's hard to stay ahead of the curve. Yeah. Knowing the lay of the land as you do, and you deal not just in Illinois, but with companies around the world, I think, right? Mm-hmm. Knowing the lay of the land as you do, to what extent are the good guys staying current or keeping the bad guys at bay?
Well, it's difficult in part because global law enforcement is hard, right? There are several people I'm tracking. I know exactly who they are, but they're operating in countries where law enforcement won't cooperate with us, or they don't really care if the crime is American victims or vice versa. But certainly, we're always keeping track of threats because they're always evolving, right? One of the reasons I love this industry is, I come to work, on another day and there's something new going on to learn versus, oh, golly gee, I've seen this threat for the past 15 years. They're always evolving. We're always reverse engineering what they're doing, trying to come up with defenses where we can. but it's really about the human element, and for people, having scrutiny about what they're seeing online, knowing that a lot of it is not necessarily trustworthy, and protecting their own information.
One last thing, I mean, we could talk for hours, and hopefully we can do this again shortly, but if there's any parting advice to people just with their home systems and all, what kind of things should they be doing to protect themselves?
Well, certainly, having antivirus on your laptops or your home network, getting a firewall in place. A lot of them are built into access points and routers you can build online. But really, being careful about what you click on an email. Look for little typos. Hey, that's not my brother sending the information needing his money. It's somebody pretending to be my brother. What I'm seeing a lot right now is people doing spoofed email around real estate transactions. They know you're selling your house. They'll send you fake wiring information. So that's the biggest transaction normal people ever do, is buying or selling a house. And once you wire $100,000 out of your bank account, it's really hard to get that back, and that's real money. So be very careful around those events, right? Or anything that's sensitive is just, if you have to, pick up the phone and call somebody. Did you send this? Is this the right information?
Yeah, and sometimes I know I've gotten something and it'll say from Joe Blow that I know, but if you look at the email, it might say the name, but it's not really from Joe Blow. It'll be from
just
Abu Dhabi or something.
Take a look at that email address, and you see like .whatever instead of .com. It's probably your hint to say, hey, either pick up the phone or just delete the email.
All right, John Bambenek, thank you.
Thank you for watching the Illinois Channel. You may also wish to follow us online, where you are free to make comments or program suggestions. Get our breaking news updates on Twitter, where you can find us at Illinois Channel. You can find our past programming on YouTube at youtube.com/Illinois Channel TV. Or you can go to the Illinois Channel website at illinoischannel.org. There you can find not only our current video stories and programs, but also our library of past programs, as well as articles that provide additional information about Illinois issues and individuals. The Illinois Channel, keeping you connected to your state, your issues, your home.